So we use the Regal 36s to cut 2 of those to cut the outfield. 2 or 3 main reasons for that. Firstly is presentation. When you've got the rollers and the weight of the rollers on them, it means that all the stripes look very consistent. There's no wheel marks from like a triple when you sit up high and the TV cameras are in. Secondly, which is also as important really, is the ball roll. When you've had the Regals on it, the ball roll's really consistent. It firms it up nicely, it goes quicker. We use a trailing seat on there just purely for time. It's 1.5 hectares, it's a big space, it's a big area, so putting the trailing seat on really helps you get it done. Probably to do one way, it normally takes 2 people 2 hours on an average cut, and we pretty much do this 6 times a week. So it's cut twice a day, 6 times a week. Only time we don't do it is if it's obviously raining, or we want to give the field a little bit of a rest to try and recover. But no, we use the Regals, they do a fantastic job. You know, really always really impressed with it, and one of the key reasons as well is the definition of the stripe. The edge from stripe to stripe really stands out, which we really like here at Edgbaston. So the reason we collect the grass in the box, pure and simply, is to reduce the thatch debris build up. Well, other than the presentation, basically we want the water to drain through the profile as quick as it can, and if there's grass lying on the top, it'll create thatch, it'll slow that down, it'll slow the ball down, the run of the ball, all the things like that. So that's why we collect the clippings. We will go into 12 mil soon. That's probably our height to cut mostly for the most of the season. Like I say, we sometimes do go to 11. It then just starts to take a little too much, and it's a bit more punishing on the plant for a 4-day game, 5-day test match. Again, like I said before, you'll see the stripes are all in line with the square. It's all striped up with a square, so they're in line. That's basically for the TV cameras, so it looks exactly the same when TV and Sky are here. It looks really in line with that. But if you look the other way, although it's in line and it's 20-foot strips one way with the square, the other way is slightly thinner. And the reason for that is we've got a verti-drainer for the back of the tractor that's there to, if we have heavy rain, we can verti-drain the field and help drainage quicker. And basically each stripe lengthways is for the verti-drainer to do 3 times, so it doesn't ruin the bay. If you do it 20 foot, it overlaps and it ruins the bay a little bit. So we sort of go with the machinery we've got. So that's why it's slightly different. But to the naked eye, it's only 2 or 3 feet, so you'd never see it. But everyone's exactly the same. So the outfield here is cut at 12 mil. Again, it can go to 11. We have gone to 10 before, but for me, the perfect outfield, presentation-wise, the paying public looks amazing, and the players. No injuries caused on it, so there's enough give for the players to dive around, but also there's enough pace in it for the ball to carry really quickly and travel really quickly to the boundary. So it's finding that balance. It's quite tricky. One of the other key factors of the outfields in England, as well as other countries, but in England, is that they can percolate the water through them very quickly. So on a test match, you can be out here very quickly. So one of the key issues we have at the ground, like with a lot of other people that work in the professional sport, is we have a giant, well, if you're an amateur, you've got trees, but we've got a new stand built in 2009 and 10. It's straight up, so from sort of October the 1st to February the 15th, the whole of the square is under shade for all of the winter, so we lose half the field to shade. We have started to get lighting rigs in to try and combat that, but even on a daylight day that's beautiful sunshine in middle of April, late April, half the outfield at that top end where the stand is has got shade on it, or percentage. So we do fight that and work with that. We've got the lighting rigs, like I say. We work a lot of things. We've tried different grass seeds, but actually we've found that the perennial ryegrass is quite strong and sort of tackles it quite well. So when I started at Leicester in 1993, one of the machines that they had was a Regal for the outfield. It was a lovely piece of machinery, worked really well. It'd been there a long time when I got there. We then bought an updated version, and every ground I've been to, whether at Trent Bridge or here and at Leicestershire, we always had Regals to cut the outfield. Reason was very good cut, good pace to cut the outfield, very strong, very robust, and actually in a lot of conditions. Sometimes it's a little bit damp and they still cut well. On all of them though, the one thing that was a denominator on every one. We always had a trailing seat purely because of the size of the outfield and the scale you've got to do it with. So the outfield at Edgbaston has a number of tasks done to it over a year, and each month is planned. But we basically have a month-on-month that starts from verti-draining in January to hollow coring in March, verti-cutting out in March, seeding in March, and top dressing with sand in March. We then verti-drain again, sometimes in April, and pro-core once a month, dependent on weather conditions. We then maybe once every 3 weeks we go over it with the uni rake and core collector, collect debris. Then maybe in the middle of the season again we maybe pro-core at a proper time when we've got no cricket on. It's obviously we feed it, fertilisers, programmes with which we've got out per month, and seaweed. But then we get to the back end of the season when we're finishing cricket, and we sort of put a plan together, and that will consist of verti-cutting probably 4 or 5 ways to a depth of about 15 mil, minus 15 mil. We collect that debris, that's all taken off site. We then seed up. We then hollow core, then we seed up. Again, the hollow coring will go down to about 6 inches, and they're 12 mil tines. So that'll take that debris out. Again, that's to get rid of organic matter, to keep the percolation rates up. It will then seeded with about 30 bags of grass seed in about 4 different directions. Again, then we'll sand it with 30 tons of sand, spread on with a Dakota sand spreader. That'll be brushed in, and then the winter programme will start where we verti-drain to depth of about 9 inches at about 19 mil tines, probably once a month, to sort of get the air movement circulating in the profile. So generally we've got sensors put in the outfield from Soil Scout that are really good and tell us how the moisture is moving in the profile. But generally, we know, with experience, you start to know. So when the weather starts to get firm and you're looking at it and you think, yeah, it's ready. So we've got 19 pop-up sprinklers around the edge of the field, and then we've got another 11 station pop-ups that can range from 2 to 4 in rows. And if you put a 2 millimetre cycle of rain, for want of water, on the outfield from the sprinklers, we generally put on around 47,000 litres of water on this outfield. You can do that 3 times in a night in the middle of summer, and the following day it will be dry in the morning. So it does take it. It's very needy of water, but yeah, leading on hot days, you can potentially put 150,000 litres of water on, and you won't see a difference. We generally do that at night for 2 or 3 reasons. One, we're working on the field in the day. 2 is evaporation rates. The sun will evaporate it. And the other reason is we want it to go into the profile and get to where the plant needs it the most.